I do think that natural yeast is a very interesting concept. I think Avenia actually was one of the first wineries that I'd had wine from that put it right on the label.
What is it?
Natural yeasts grow in the vineyard, they grow in the grapes. It's just like little pieces of organisms that exist everywhere in nature. And the reason that you might use natural yeast, or some winemakers believe that it actually enhances what the terroir of the wine would be. It makes it have a more like natural flavor, so you're not interfering with what the wine should taste like. I'm putting all of this in quotes because there's no science to it, really. There's no science that says that natural yeast versus a cultured yeast taste any different, act any different, or anything like that. What we do know about natural yeast is that we can't control them. They're a natural organism. And so when you decide to use a natural yeast, you don't know when it's going to start the fermentation, how long it's going to go for, how much alcohol it can actually tolerate, versus what the end result is going to taste like. You really don't know. You also don't know how fast it's going to go. So you could have crazy yeast run in the very beginning, and then you haven't reached the amount of time that you want the yeast to run for, so you have to do things in the middle to kind of help it along. So there's a lot that goes into it, and it's definitely a risk using natural yeast. The other side of that is using a cultured yeast. So a cultured yeast, there's tons of different strains, and you can like order it online. It's just like a beer making yeast. If you decide you want a certain flavor profile, you can choose a certain yeast. If you want to be done with your fermentation quicker, you can choose a certain yeast. It's kind of like seasoning your food. A cultured yeast would be like, let's say, a Creole seasoning, a Greek seasoning, oregano, any of those. And you're like, I know I want it to taste like this. This is what I'm going after. Natural yeast would be like if you just want to cook your food without seasoning and you want the natural flavors to kind of stand out. So you get a really good piece of chicken, or you get like the freshest vegetables possible and you prepare them without any seasonings, maybe just a little bit of oil. It really depends on how you're going to cook it, what you're going to do with it, like all that stuff comes into play. So natural versus cultivated yeast is like a long-standing topic discussion piece.
It sounds like the natural yeast is probably how wine was first discovered. Somebody leaving a bucket of grapes out in the rain for a couple of days and then drinking it for some reason.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Natural yeasts are just there and they're ready. And they'll start when they want to, and they'll be done when they want to.